lives matter!
Black lives matter!
All lives matter!
Black lives matter!
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
Who lives matter?
Black lives matter!
Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
Who lives matter?
Black lives matter! Refugees are welcome here!
Very passionate, very specific about it.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2016 UN Anti-Racism Day demonstration.
I'm the co-chairperson of United Families and Friends. We are a coalition of families that deal with deaths in police custody. 22 years ago, my twin brother was murdered in a police cell. To this date, not a single officer has been charged with his death.
Sarah Reid! We stand up and you say her name! Sarah Reid! And there are so many other names. So unite!
Of a mass movement of people where we've seen nearly 500,000 Syrian people die. A great proportion of those women and children, people fleeing war, persecution in Syria, Africa, Libya, Iraq and Afghanistan. Cameron's response and the government's response is to face away from people who need our help. And we can't have that situation in this country anymore.
You have to understand, no one puts their child on a boat unless the water is safer than the land.
I bring our greetings to this rally on behalf of the over 330,000 members of the NUT, every one of whom would be here today if they possibly could, and on behalf of our Deputy General Secretary Kevin Courtney. Let me say to you that the NUT stands for all of the things for which this rally stands today. We say stand up to racism, stand up to fascism, stand up to Islamophobia, and yes, refugees are welcome here.
The real problem, the real people who have trouble integrating in society are people who went to Eton and Billingdon and Oxford and Cambridge, the people in this government who are out of touch with the values of this country. And so I end here by saying, not just the refugees are welcome here, but the fascists are not welcome here.
Because if I ask you who the name of Mark Duggan is, you will know. If I ask you who the name of Smiley Culture is, many of you will know. But if I say to you Sarah Thomas, Sherry Gross, Cynthia Jarrett, Sarah Reid, black women are invisible in our struggle, and it's our duty to raise them up as the foremost victims of racism. Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
Who lives matter?
All lives matter!
Who lives matter?
All lives matter!
Refugees are welcome here. We have had unprecedented abuse and denigration of refugees and migrants over the years, and it has reached a crescendo with this European referendum. But what we need to be saying is we will not tolerate
the demonisation of refugees. We want this country to fulfil its international obligations. It is a shame on this country that refugees are forced to live in squalor in camps in Calais and Greece. It is appalling the way the countries of Europe want to turn their backs. I was able to visit Calais a few weeks ago. I was able to visit Greece last month, and the conditions those desperate people are living in bring shame on the European family of nations. We are rallying against racism, against fascism, against Islamophobia, and also against anti-Semitism.
We say no to racism. We say no to blaming migrants. We say no to racism. Thank you.
In Greece, in Poland, in Germany, in Italy, in France, there are people like us marching today. People like us, yes, people just like us, who are saying that yesterday the deal done by the EU with Turkey is not something that is for human rights, but is something that we have to question. There are people like us who are marching in all of these countries today who welcomed refugees all those months ago, and they will still welcome refugees today. Don't listen to what the newspapers say. In Germany, they will still welcome refugees. Refugees are welcome today, they were welcome then, and don't listen to the voices that say that they are going to be rejected. That is not what people like us are saying. Refugees are welcome in Europe and they are welcome in Britain. Thank you very much.
The Syrian crisis, as we know, is a global humanitarian crisis. It's affecting Europe, but not Europe alone. And Syrians are not the only refugees seeking sanctuary in our countries at the moment. So we mustn't close our eyes to those who are coming from Afghanistan, from Eritrea, from wherever else it is in the world, where people are still persecuted and oppressed. And we need to remember that the Geneva Convention, the European Union law, are based on the need for protection. And we mustn't lose sight of that when we're trying to cope with what's happening in Syria. I believe that many governments are closing their eyes to the need for humanitarian protection and respect for the laws that they themselves have put in place.
My constituency has sent me here today to stand in solidarity with refugees.
In May 2014, I stood in the European elections, never having been involved in politics before. I stood against Nick Griffin, the fascist BNP Nazi, and I won and he lost that election.
The Asian community decided to show solidarity and pay respects to him. Instead, 12 men were arrested. We want the charges dropped now. Support the Rotherham 12. Please look on the leaflets, look up the Facebook thing, put it on like. We want to make sure that racism doesn't dwell in South Yorkshire. Support the Rotherham 12 now.
The racist, Islamophobic prevent agenda is rendering us prisoners in our own society at every corner, with Muslims being the prime targets. Black people are still being murdered at the hands of the police, in prison, immigration and mental health care services.